Hey everybody, I just decided I would randomly go live today because today is my 1000th video. Can you believe it? It's crazy. I can't believe that it's already been, it's been 8 years, let's be honest, but 1,000 videos. That's how many videos that we have. Hi, Death Scream. And so I thought I would just surprise you guys and hang out for just a bit. I am working on other videos and I'm still waiting for the approval because if you know, it's super, super hot in LA right now. And so Sean and I had filmed at YouTube LA. Hey, everybody. Hey. So I thought I would just come on because it's our 1,000th video. Can you believe it? But yeah, so I'm just working on some videos for the next time that we film. And I thought it would just be kind of fun I've never done this before. So wow, it's hard to keep up with all of the chat. This is crazy. But anyways, so that's what we're just going to hang out here for a little bit. I can answer some questions. But first, I'll just kind of update you all on what I'm working on and what's happening. So today is our 1000th video. Yay! Which is just crazy. And Sean's watching on his phone. I can hear it.
It's a lot better quality then. How's the quality?
Yeah, how's the quality? Do you guys like this better than other things we've used? Because we've done YouNow, we've done Patreon. Oh, thanks, Addie. I'm so glad. I'm good, Teddy. So today I am working on, Ashley Basta Volleyball. Hey, I am working on some video topics. I'm looking over here because I have my list. I was just doing some research about shame and trauma and why I think they're so connected. And yeah, also I reached out to YouTube today because I learned that most of my eating disorder videos / trauma videos are not being monetized. And that's interesting. So yeah, so that's what's been going on with me. And then I'm just preparing the next group of Monday videos. I did a survey on Patreon for all of you. For those of you who know that I have Patreon, at the $10 and above, you get to pick the videos that I essentially create for the next group of filming. And I'll be working on those and filming those in the next couple of weeks. So let me know how you guys are doing. What are you up to? This is kind of a fun, it's real. Keely's here. Hey. It's fun to see some names that I recognize from Patreon and from YouNow. Sean, you're in as me.
Yeah, I turned on yours. I wanted to see.
Oh, Sean's in as me. I was like, I did not type heyo. So I know, surprise live stream. Exactly. You guys have to let me know if you like these better than YouNow or anything like that. But I still will do some on Patreon, just like I always do. Becky says, hi, Sean.
Hello.
But anyway, so what are you guys up to? And what kind of things would you like questions you want me to answer or other things? Because I'm trying to, there's nothing really else to update you. I do have some mail that I'll go through on probably another live stream either this week or next. So yeah, but I've never, it's crazy. It's hard to keep up with.
It's not
somebody was at the hairdresser.
It's nice to see that there's that many of us here.
I need to get my hair cut. I had to cancel on Friday because Rocio, my friend and I, if you don't know Rocio, she's a good friend of mine. She's been in old school videos. If you've been watching for a really long time, you know who Rocio is. Anyway, we went to a Brandy Carlisle concert on Friday, and so I had to cancel my haircut because I didn't realize I wouldn't make it in time. I had to leave early. Oh, Link Ninja's here. Hey. I see it. How come it says it has Corrales and then it has a little... Do you know why, Link Ninja, why you have a little thing? Do you see it? Do you see it too? Her little blue mark? It looks like not a screwdriver, or wrench.
Moderator.
A wrench. Oh, because you're a mod. Hey. So cool.
That's it. Moderator.
Yep, a wrench. I know, it took me a little while to even think of that word for some reason. Oh, from Montana, Big Sky Country. Yes, I love Brandy Carlisle too. She is super, super amazing to see live if you get a chance. Her voice, she plays a ton of instruments. She writes her lyrics. She's just so cool. It does that every so often.
No,
oh, hey, Coach Lewis. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for that. I don't even know, top chat. I didn't know how this worked. This is really cool. So thank you. Oh, hey, Mal Rain. And I'm doing well, you guys. After this, I'm going to.
So is that a question?
Oh, there's Addie. I don't think it's a question. Let me know if that was a question, top chatter there, because it didn't really sound
Do you see how it shows up?
Yeah, it's all.
Oh, is yours the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, there's cool moderator tools too.
Yeah, interesting. You guys, I'm just learning I'm learning. We're learning.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, so then I put, I guess I just click on it and then, anyways, okay, you guys, sorry. I'm learning along with you. This is our first time. It's like when we first did that Instagram live stream. But anyways, after this, I'm going to go for my walk. For many of you, if you don't know, something that I do to take care of myself is to go for walks and listen to podcasts and just do some, I don't know, some deep thinking so that I can like clear my head and come back and create more videos. But I am excited about this next chunk of videos, and I have some collaborations I've been working on that'll be really cool, and you guys will see. Did you guys love Jacksepticeye as much as I did? He was really great. He's such a nice guy. And it was really, I just love that he was open to talking about mental health, and he's a great mental health advocate. So, we get a lot of trolls in here. This is crazy. I like waving at people. Oh, the great Luca, Barry Lieberman. I actually, hello, all the way from London. I just texted him yesterday. I haven't heard back, but he was in Jamaica with his family recently. They take a vacation every year. He has two daughters, and they're both married and have kids. So he's a grandpa and he enjoys that. And yeah, so I would love to have him on again. I just have to figure out what I would want him to talk about. If you guys have something that you would like to me to ask him and talk about with him, you let me know. Yeah, I would love to collab with Shane Dawson as well. I'll reach out and see if we can get something in the works. There's a lot of people that I'd love to collaborate with, so I will keep you guys posted.
I really liked his series, by the way. I really like the latest one.
Yeah, did you guys like the Jeffree Star series as much as Sean and I did?
Yeah.
We thought it was really, really great. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mal. That's awesome that you guys get to take care of the trolls. I love it. Oh, more on ADHD? I could definitely talk more on ADHD. I just, if you have a particular question, when the video goes live today, will you put that in the comments, your question about ADHD? Because that'll like guide the research that I do and the video that I create. Because that's kind of the problem that I have is sometimes people are like, I want you to talk more about this topic, but I need to know, how to gear the video to best help you. Okay, Caitlin has a question. Can you give this to Jack? He's like a brother to me, and I hope to chat with him on Tumblr. I made him a drawing. How would I give it to him? I mean, I can text him, but I will let him know that you're a huge fan.
What is the thing that they want to give?
Yeah, what is the thing you want to give?
I mean, they say it's a picture, but like, where would we see the picture?
You could send it to me on Tumblr.
Yeah, there you go.
I get on Tumblr a lot. It's funny. So I'm on Tumblr every day or so. Anyways, and so, sorry, the chat is just crazy. So anyways, I'm on Tumblr a lot, and no other YouTubers are really on it very often, or at least nobody talks about it. Like when they talk about sharing stuff, they never talk about Tumblr. I love Tumblr. So it was interesting to do a collaboration with Jack because he spends a lot of time on Tumblr. And I don't know, it was just really funny and cool. And I was like, oh my God, have you seen this meme? And like, have you seen this whole chain of, it was just really fun to chat with him about it because I love Tumblr as much as he loves Tumblr. Oh, intermittent explosive disorder. I'll have to look that up, Patricia. I'm surprised I haven't done a video on that, but I guess I haven't. I do read my, okay,
so
sorry.
I did get the question, by the way, from that first super chat.
Is there a question?
Yeah, it was just, so you want me to tell you what it is?
Sure.
Okay. Coach Luis says, money is the source of my self-worth and self-esteem. What do you think of that? Oh,
what do I think of that? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, you guys. I'm still learning. I see there's a question that just popped up too from Holly, so I will answer that next.
Money is the source of my self-worth and self-esteem. What do you think about that?
I don't think that that's a really healthy place to be in because money comes and goes, and I think our self-worth should always be something that's like deep inside of us. And so if that is something that you're struggling with, I know a lot of people feel their self-worth is attached to their job or it's attached to certain relationships in their life. And while all of that is okay, it's okay to have some of it. I don't believe our self-worth always is 100% coming from the inside. It's okay to have little portions that are elsewhere, but I would encourage you to talk nicer to yourself every day. And I know I talk about this a lot and it's kind of annoying, but self-talk is really important because our confidence needs to come from somewhere deep within ourselves where we just believe that things will be okay for us and get better for us. And it just, honestly, it's just important that we take the time to grow our relationship with ourselves. and to consider it like that, like I'm growing a relationship just in the same way we would be dating or something. Can you hold that Holly question for me?
I've got it.
Okay, cool.
And
Sean's helping me.
Playlist for that too, because there's a whole playlist on that.
Yes, and Holly, there is a ton of videos on depersonalization. So Sean is going to link the video. I have a whole playlist on DR. Like I talked with Dodie about depersonalization, realization. We talked about dissociation. I have a ton of dissociative disorders, dissociative identity disorder, otherwise known as multiple personality disorder. But anyways, back to the first question, just to finish that up. I would encourage you to talk nicer to yourself, to spend more time like dating yourself. And I mean that in a nice, loving way, because we have to love on ourselves, feel confident in who we are before other people will tend to perceive us that way. And putting all of our self-worth in money is just something that it's not something that's completely under our control. And so I would put it I'd make it under our control, where we just inside ourselves feel good about who we are. Does that make sense? Being nicer to yourself. Okay. So yeah, Holly, hopefully that is helpful, that there's a whole, like I said, a whole plethora of derealization, depersonalization videos.
Yep. And Link
okay,
Ninja's
cool.
on it
Yep.
too.
Link Ninja's on it. Okay.
Sweet.
Okay, let's see. I am who I'm meant to be says, hey, Katie, yesterday I saw my psychiatrist and he thinks I could have bipolar 2, but not 100% certain. Problem is sometimes I don't know if I'm hypomanic or normal. How do I tell the difference? I think that the way to know the difference is to talk to your doctor about it and to track your symptoms. Now, the difference between hypomania and mania is going to be a little bit different person to person. I find, and you guys can let me know in the comments if you disagree, but in my experience, in my practice, mania comes along with this intense, everything is intense, like an intense elevated sense of self. We think we're the best. We think everybody loves us. We feel so confident in who we are and our ability to go up to strangers or even celebrities that we might run into on the street. If you live in LA, I've had patients do this and introduce themselves and feel super proud about it. And honestly, it's kind of like embarrassing to them later when they come down from it. And so also there's decreased need for sleep. We won't sleep for days. We will talk so quickly that people can't get a word in edgewise. We can even have paranoid thoughts that come along with it. And hypomania is like the build up to that. So when we are sleeping, but we're not sleeping a ton, we start to feel a little bit more energy. And I find hypomania comes along with irritability more than mania. So that would be how I would track it. But I would just keep track of your symptoms, keep track of how it feels for you, and then talk with your doctor, because together you can come up with the best possible diagnosis for you.
And then Molly asked a question. Can you ever fully recover from anorexia?
Yes, you can fully recover from anorexia. I was just talking to someone, it wasn't Lindsay Sterling, but I have talked with her in the past about her eating disorder. And I really liked what she said. If you haven't watched our video together, I would watch our video because it's her story of recovery from anorexia. But she talks about how sometimes when she gets super stressed out, it'll try to come back, like the thoughts will try to come back. And I think she compared it to like, it's the same person, but it's in wearing a different dress and like a wig. It's like in a different costume. And you're like, no, I still know it's you. And so we become so well aware, and we have so many other healthy coping skills to replace the anorexia voice and the eating disorder voice, that I believe, like Lindsay said, even though it can like try to come in a different way, where it's like this newest diet trend or workout trend or whatever it may be, we're like, I don't trust you. You seem a lot like that old friend that I'm not friends with anymore. And so, yes, you can get over it, but certain times under extreme stress, we might, oh, okay, cool. So I'm getting better at the chat. I can click at the top and like it comes down. Anyway, we'll be able to ignore those thoughts even when we're super stressed and it kind of comes back, but I believe we can fully recover. We'll just have like those little bloop of a thought. We're like, hey, maybe I could. And we're like, nope, not interested. Next. So to answer it as a long-winded answer, just saying yes. Now, Allie's question is, I recently opened up to my therapist about cutting. Had a hard time talking about it. I get mute. The more I talk, the more I can't. Why? I believe because when we self-injure, it can make us feel really vulnerable to share that really personal part of ourselves. Most of my patients don't want anybody to know they wear long sleeves no matter what the weather, pants and long sleeves, just so no one asks questions. Oh, of course, Maria. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the videos. And so I think that when we try to talk about it with someone, it can make us feel really, I don't know, another word for vulnerable, but just really sensitive to things. And it can be really scary. And so I would encourage you to start journaling about it first and maybe practicing what you'd like to say out loud with yourself before you go into therapy. Because then by the time you get to therapy, hopefully you feel really comfortable with it. You feel okay saying things out loud and hearing yourself say them out loud. And just know that it's a process, not perfection. We're going to work on it as much as we can. If you have to bring in something you wrote down and give it to your therapist because you can't say it out loud, that's fine too. Just give yourself the time and, know that you'll get there. It's all about comfortability, and you're sharing something that's really, really personal to you. And so just give yourself time to be okay with it. Lauren, what would I say to someone considering suicide? There is hope. Trust me, there are people out there that care about you. There are people out there who love you very much. And there are professionals who can really assist. And I know we can feel like it's hopeless and helpless, but it's not. Call 911, call Samaritans, call text with the crisis text line, anything to get you some extra support, because trust me, it does get better. Now, Kimberly's question, my therapist has been wonderful, but after an incident, she's been negative with me. Tried to talk to her and she turns it around on me. What do I do? Let her know how you feel. And if you can't work through it, I would encourage you really need to focus on trying to communicate this with your therapist. Therapy is a great place to try to work through some of the issues maybe we have where we assume someone's mad at us and we turn inside and we don't want to talk about it. So we need to try to talk about it. We need to, work with them to try to communicate all we're feeling, hearing their side, giving our opinion. And if it doesn't get better and we don't feel like therapy is a safe place anymore and they're just always negative, then you're going to need to try to see someone else. You need to ask for other referrals, because therapy needs to be a safe and happy place where we can talk about everything. We can work through icky feelings, whether that be transference or even countertransference on the therapist. We're going to need to figure out how to talk about that. Hey, Carly. But you just have to give yourself the time to do it and be patient with it and try to communicate. It's a great place to practice. Even if it doesn't work out, it's a great place to practice. Okay. And then I'd see somebody else. Okay, is that the 5? Yeah, that's the one I just did. Okay. So this is crazy, you guys. I need water.
It's an interesting.
It's pretty easy to set up, I have to say.
Yeah, I'd like the quality better.
Mm-hmm. Rain DeQueerkin said, how do you get help secretly? If you're under 18.
A costume.
No.
That's
Sean's a comedian.
I'd wear a mustache and a hat. I'd hide.
But you already wear you have a mustache and you wear hats. We'd still know it was you.
Damn it.
Anyways, so okay, I'll get to questions, but the getting help secretly could be through a school counselor. As long as you're over 13 years of age, you can afford the copay or the cost of therapy, and you have a reason for not having your parents be part of it, you can get help without them knowing. But overall, if you're over 18, therapy is confidential and you can get help secretly whenever. However, it's your choice. Okay. Maddie says, what's the best way to deal with distressing jobs? Example, 911, hearing the calls and having to go home now and not know what's happened. I would assume struggling tonight. I think, and will you save Gabby's question for me?
Yeah,
okay. So I truly think that, and this is something that I've been trying to put together, but I really wanted, I was looking for funding for it, to be honest. It's a huge video series that I would like to be able to give access to for first responders. First responders being 911 operators, EMTs, police officers, firefighters, like anybody who's the first on a scene, I really think needs to understand how to best manage their mental health. And Maddie, for your question specifically, I would cry about it. I would journal about it. And I would honestly get into therapy if you can, because we're going to need some support and some help, because that's a lot to deal with each and every day. If that's your job and you're listening to trauma all day, it's normal for it to affect you. And so we just really need to, get support, because we can't do it all on our own, and you're not expected to. So just breathe, reach out, talk to friends, talk to family, journal about it, and know that it will get better. We just have to give you time to process through all that's happened, and not knowing what's happened. Like that makes it hard too. So I think just giving yourself more outlets and more support, like maybe just going for, self-care. Fleur, it says fleur meilleur. It's like the flip of what I'm used to being. And that is true, self-care. So making sure that you give yourself some time to decompress after work and before work, and you're doing things that feel good for you. Just building up your resources. And resources can be anything from friends that you call and talk with, other operators that you work with, if you like them, talking to them can be really helpful. Yeah, so just taking better care of yourself. Now, the other question was, why does PTSD make me?
Yeah, I've got all the questions.
What was the PTSD?
So let me enlarge these for you.
Okay. Oh, psychosomatic pain. I can see. Okay, I already did the Maddie one. That's why I just answered. Why does PTSD cause me to vomit during intercourse? Honestly, depending on what our trauma comes from, if our trauma comes from a sexual place, like let's say we were sexually abused or we were assaulted or raped at some time in our life, putting ourselves back in a position, even though it's totally different. Oh, yay. Hi, Brent. Congratulations on your 2nd anniversary at Apple.
What's up, Brent?
He's been a long time OG viewer.
He's a cool guy.
He is a very cool guy. So much taller than I thought when I met him. Anyways, if our trauma is related to that and we put ourselves back in a position that can be a big trigger for us, we can have what somebody was just asking about, like psychosomatic symptoms, which means it's the way of our body responding to our mental health issue. So like responding to the trauma. So visceral response could be, a lot of people will like dissociate or have flashbacks or, go into a freeze state of some sort. But a lot of other people will want to run away. They can throw up. You can feel really nauseous or just sick to your stomach. You can start sweating. Your heart can start racing. So all of those symptoms, you can feel really achy as a result of mental illness. So that could be why, is because it's a really, really big trigger. Okay, next. Just did that one. Goal of therapy for DID. Okay, so a lot of
Chambers.
Okay, Jess Chambers' question about DID. I think and I'll try to get through as many of these as I can. Oh, hey, Raywood. Thank you. So I think that when it comes to dissociative identity disorder, otherwise known as multiple personality disorder, the main goal that I heard from a lot of people when I put out the video, people said that the main goal of their therapy, because I don't specialize in this, by the way, but is to get your alters. So if you don't understand, like DID means you have like a bunch of different personalities and parts of yourself. They're really essentially, I don't know, they're parts of yourself that help you better manage things you've been through. And so they're like adaptive, and we have to get them to work in harmony. And so all of those different parts of yourself, we need to get them to work together instead of fight one another or cause distress for you. And so that's kind of the goal, is just to help, to help that be better, so that we can better navigate all of our alters and help them better work together like a team. And there's another one that when I was doing my research, that a lot of therapists feel like integration of the alters is a goal as well. And it doesn't work for everybody, but for some people, they'll want to, merge them so that we become our one whole self again, or maybe we just have fewer alters. And so that's another option as well. And so hopefully that kind of helps a little bit. Okay. What's the next one? I'm 25. This is Yanamus. I'm 25 and ADHD. I don't know how to study effectively. Talk to your school. Talk to them ASAP. Get in to see a psychiatrist, a therapist, because you're going to need potentially an IEP or a 504, which is just depending on what your school offers. An IEP is an individualized education plan. And it just helps you get more time in testing. It helps you maybe get notes from other people in class who are better able to focus. Disability services, whoop, whoop for the win. Your sausage dog puppy. Yay, Keely. Woo, woo. So anyways, those are the things I look into. And also for now, if you need a study now, but school shouldn't have started yet, but maybe it did for you, taking breaks and allowing yourself to focus for like whatever your amount is. Let's say it's 10 minutes, and then we need to distract with something else. Then we can come back to studying, because it's going to be really hard and almost like an effort and futility if you're just like trying to study for hours and hours on end. Because it's really hard for us to stay focused when we're not really interested in it. And trust me, a lot of school isn't that interesting, even though we still want to pass our classes. Okay, next question.
Hey, you're like shotgunning this. You should take a breath.
Well, I'm only going to be on for a little bit longer.
I know.
Somebody was asking if I would text Jacksepticeye. that's just not really fair to him. It's kind of part of our relationship. And I would encourage you to tweet him because I know he interacts with his community all the time. So get into the comments of his video when it goes live. I know he comments in there a lot and he's super active. So that's what I would encourage you to do because I'm not really even sure what you really wanted. So yeah, reach out to him. He interacts. Reach out on Tumblr, stuff like that. Okay. Sophie says family therapy for the first time. What happens? It's honestly not as scary as it sounds. A lot of family therapy is just for the therapist, behind the scenes of what a therapist thinks is we're trying to figure out what the dynamics are of the family, like who talks for everybody, who's the one that's like our scapegoat, the one that's like showing the symptoms for the family. We try to just figure out what the dysfunction is that you're experiencing, mainly the reason you came to therapy, and then working with you as a team to fix it. And so know that it's just going to be like what brought you in. Each of you kind of shares your role or your part in the family. They'll ask you questions about that. Like, okay, well, if someone is upset, what usually happens? Or, okay, so if you got in trouble at school, how would your mom and dad react? And so it's kind of just, we're figuring out how you interact with one another and what the real main issue is, why you came. And then we'll try to figure out how we best navigate through and how we work with you to get better. And I would just keep trying to get a hold of Jack. You have to understand he has a ton of viewers and a ton of followers in general. So I would just do my best to reach out because I know he does his best to talk with people and I'm not the best way to get a hold of him. So I'm sorry. Okay. Oh yeah, I already said that one.
All right.
Brent's
and then
thing.
Kate Reynolds.
What do you do with complex treatment resistant patients? Doc says they're out of meds or quit on me. And so my therapist has me just trying to stay alive. Bipolar 1 plus 5 other diagnoses. In truth, Kate, so what she's asking for, if you guys don't understand, is like treatment resistant issues. A lot of people try a shit ton of meds and they get in therapy for a really long time and nothing gets better. And they're like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even I'm not feeling better. They feel like I'm being given up on. And I always, okay, so just hear me out. These are my thoughts. Number one, when it comes to medication, I'm feeling like nothing has worked. My question to all my patients is, how long were you on that medication? I want to talk to your psychiatrist and I want to get all of essentially your whole file and report from them. Because often I find when we're feeling really shitty and they try new medication, we give up on it right away because it didn't make it better. And they may be worried that we're suicidal. And so obviously we should have a safety plan in place with our therapist so that we do stay alive because that's really important. But I think there are still tons of options out there. And TMS is a new option, the transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is like a new treatment where you put on a helmet. Doty's done it. It's supposed to help with depression and anxiety. They're doing other studies for like OCD and depersonalization. Hasn't been shown to be effective yet. But all of that being said, I would get another psychiatrist. I'd see somebody different and I'd get reassessed. That's what I always have my patients do. If they feel like they're treatment resistant, I want them to go back to square one. I want to start with the assessments. And I want you to then see a different psychiatrist, maybe 2 psychiatrists, get some differing opinions. Then we decide on a medication treatment, if that's something that you want. And then I work with you to put a safety plan together to keep you safe. I make you track your symptoms so we ensure that your diagnosis is appropriate. And then we put a treatment plan together that helps you move towards your goals because it does get better. And there are tons of medication options out there. So don't feel like there aren't any, you're at the end, everybody's going to give up on you and there's nothing you can do because there's a lot you can do. Okay. And I hope that just kind of helps. Okay. What's next? What's my advice on transitioning out of residential eating disorder treatment for anorexia? I have a team, but it's still been difficult. Are you able to go down from residential to like a day program? That's always my goal. Because a day program, if anybody doesn't know, it's like anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week and you're there for most of your day. And I usually have my patients do that. Because if we really were struggling and we were an inpatient, then we need to slowly toggle down so that we aren't like thrown back into life and we relapse. And so having your team in place is great. If you aren't able to do day program, then at least 2 sessions a week with your therapist and seeing your dietitian every week would be really helpful. Just setting yourself up for the most care that you can. And lastly, continue using all the tools that you learned when you were inpatient that really helped you. Those worked for a reason. Keep doing them, okay? Next question. From the Redheaded Poet. What do you know or think about comfort objects like teddy bears for children and adults? I think those are fine. I think those are great as long as it's not like, I guess there's no real reason why it wouldn't be good. But if you find yourself acting in a childlike way, like you're developmentally arrested at that age, that's a whole different issue. And that's something I would bring up in therapy. If you find yourself talking like a child, acting like a child, like I've had patients and viewers alike who will speak very childlike to me, even though they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s. And that's something that's a trauma. It's related to trauma usually. And so I would just be aware of that. But I think having comfort animals, comfort blankets, things like that are fine. A lot of people do. I still have my baby blanket in my bed and I don't feel bad about it at all.
I do.
Sean does. It's comforting and I've had it forever. And
I'm just kidding. It's pretty darn soft.
It's pretty darn soft.
But tell them what I discovered. I'm not
Thanks.
a therapist. But what did I discover? Your love of
Oh yeah, my love of waffle knit.
like
I used to try to buy Sean waffle knit shirts and stuff a lot. And then my baby blanket was waffle knit.
I put two and two together
He
and I
did.
was like, wait a minute.
He did. So what are you gonna do? So anyways, that's, that's the truth. But there's nothing wrong with it. If something's soothing to you, then I think, that's what Sadie girl's blanket is waffle knit too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it's fine. Okay. Next question.
Where are we?
And usually it's just a comfort thing. It's like a transitional object, they call them, by the way.
Oh,
I feel like I'm gonna
Julia sent her puppy dog.
Oh yeah, puppy's watching, got that.
Then this one.
But they say they're just transitional objects and they're soothing because they help us transition from like childhood to adulthood. Okay.
What a good name.
Maria, I know. Maria Mafalda Gomez. I started dating again and I'm afraid about my date's reaction to my self-harm scars. What would be a proper explanation? Thanks and big hugs. I think this is something a lot of people worry about is like, what are they going to say if they see it and how do I explain that to them? And the truth is that it's all about what you're comfortable sharing at the right time. If they ask, I think we should always be prepared to have something to say because someone could ask, and I don't want anybody to be caught off guard, but hopefully you're given the time to say it when you feel ready. I think the best thing to say is what's true to you. Now, here's an example of something that I would tell a patient, like we talk it out and figure out what makes sense for them. But first I would just say, I felt really bad for a long time, and this was one of the only ways I could find to cope. And then hopefully you're not doing it anymore and you're feeling better and you're working on your recovery. And I would say, it's something that I work on and I struggle with, but it, however you want to explain it, but I'm better, or I haven't done it in many years, however you want to talk about it. But I think it's just sharing as much as you're comfortable with and telling them, it was just a way of expressing how hard things were and how bad things were at a certain point in your life, but you've come a long way. And those are just reminders of how strong you are. I would try to frame it in a positive light just so we don't want them trying to jump in and fix us or worry about us when we're just starting to date. I think it's kind of important that they know that we've got a handle on it. We're working on it on our own and we're not expecting them to like fix it for us. Do you know what I mean? But you guys can let me know, in the chat if you think there's something a little bit different or something that you've said that's really been helpful.
So this is like pretty intense what you're doing right now. All the questions. And
it's a lot.
Like,
what's the next question?
Let me find it. Sorry, I'm having a hard time keeping up. So give me a second.
My phone. I didn't even silence my phone, you guys.
Let's see here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scooby-Looby-Loo.
Scooby-Looby-Loo. How do you figure out the line between being realistic with my situation and who I am and just being negative? I think it's how much time you spend doing that, because it's normal to have shitty days or shitty periods where we're like, man, my life is just not going the way I want it to right now. But then, so we can think about that. We can be sad. We can be mad. We can feel whatever we feel. But then, so I honestly give my patients, I always say, like, take a day, feel shitty for a day, feel angry for a day, just really wallow in it, enjoy it. We don't enjoy it, but you know what I mean. And then what are you going to do about it? And that's like the motive. We have to get up and start moving forward. What are we going to do? Because we all have shitty situations in life. Nobody's life is perfect. Even if it looks like it is online, trust me, it is not. We all have hard times, burnout, stress at home, at work, with family, whatever. But you can't just allow yourself to wallow. It's okay to acknowledge that's part of that day where you feel like shit and let yourself feel like shit. acknowledge it, and then figure out what's your best next move. Maybe that move is just showering and going for a walk. Maybe that is calling a friend. Whatever it is, we need to do that thing, because otherwise we're just going to wallow, and that doesn't help anybody. And that only makes us feel worse. Okay. Dilly and Dad says, mental illness led to addiction. I'm 6 years clean now. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Congratulations. You inspired me to start a mental health channel, The Rewired Soul. 10K subs already. That's really awesome. Congratulations. I would love to collab sometime from Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I don't have any plans to go to Las Vegas anytime soon. And my manager, Linnea, is the person you email. She's the one that manages all of my collaborations and sets those up for me. But I'm really proud of you. Congratulations on working so hard and just becoming a better you.
Mental health ally.
Yay, yay, yay. Okay. So let's see.
Let's see here. What else do we have? Oh, okay.
Okay, so then this is Indiana. Says, any advice for patients ending therapy to utilize that time wisely? Only 5 sessions left. Also, thanks for all you do. Oh, thank you. I know. Can you believe it's been 1,000 videos? And I'm so glad you're finding everything helpful. When you're ending therapy and using time wise, okay, so best thing to do is to set up a plan. And I know that that sounds really silly, but I always put together like a discharge plan with my patients so that you feel like you have tools that you need. You feel like you're supported as you like transition out. And yeah, you feel like you have all of and you know that you can go back to therapy at any time. Because even though my patients, I'll discharge them, I'm like, you know, if you are struggling in the future, you know, you can always call me. I'm not retiring anytime soon. I'm only 34. I got many more years of work left in me. So there's that. Then the next thing I would do is I would go through, like I like to do this with my patients, is go through all the stuff we've accomplished together and make a list about it. Because I think that it's really important that we recognize how far we've come, and it can be really empowering and just really confidence boosting. And I just like that. So those would be the things that I would do. Put a plan together for when you're done, and also, you know, spend some time recognizing all that you've worked on in therapy. Okay, next question. When Maisie Hockenberry says, when going into treatment, will they drug test? Usually. We did at the Eating Disorder Treatment Center because it was like part of the intake before we'd even actually enroll them, because if they had a drug problem, we wanted them to get treatment for that first. Now, every treatment center is going to have a different set of rules and regulations and things that they abide by. But in my experience, almost 100% yes. Okay, do you know any cases of success of treating?
Laura not sold.
Yeah, Laura not
sold Atova.
Yep. Okay. Do you know any cases of success of treating OCD with EMDR? I'm doing it in therapy, but I don't really think it will work for my case of OCD. Okay. First of all, I don't do EMDR, so I'm not a specialist. I'd have to ask Alexa, one of my friends. She does EMDR. I've had her on the channel. She's a wonderful lady. My gut says no, because EMDR is best for processing through traumas or difficult situations. It's helped patients of mine who have a traumatic past, have PTSD, my patients who struggle with depersonalization, derealization, and my patients who've been depressed or anxious. With that being said, OCD is best treated with CBT, meaning cognitive behavioral therapy, because behavioral techniques really help us hold off on doing the behavior that compulsion has asked of us, right? Whether it be intrusive thoughts, or whether it be doing things a certain number of times. It's best to just have those behavioral techniques to help us stop doing the thing, putting it off longer and longer, because that's how we overcome OCD. Okay. And sorry, I just don't think EMDR is the best thing. Okay. Now, okay, Robin. Oh, Robin Couch. That's a fun last name. What should I do if regular exercise doesn't ease my anxiety anymore? I feel constant anxiety and I don't know how to ease it now.
Anxiety questions are so interesting to me. Yeah.
In truth, okay, so hear me out. First of all, I have an anxiety workbook I put a shit ton of effort into, and I would encourage you to download it. You can get it in the iBook store.
Yeah, or on your website.
Or on my website, you can download it. Anyways, and I say that because I walk through all of the steps of helping us with anxiety. And exercise can help if we have situational stress / maybe very mild anxiety. But it doesn't help when we actually have an anxiety disorder, or our anxiety is like impairing our ability to function in some way. And I think that anxiety as a whole is best treated by Are you ready for it? Changing our thoughts. We have to, I believe anxiety is born out of lack of self-confidence and self-assurance. I believe that that's really where it comes from. That's the root of the root. And so what I'd encourage you to do is to notice situations that make your anxiety worse. We're going to try to track back to figure out what the triggers are and where it comes from for you. And then every day I want you to do I want you to say or write down 3 to 5 things that are positive and supportive that refer back to those things in those situations that tend to trigger our anxiety. So like, let's say our anxiety comes from struggles at work, to keep up at work. And we feel really anxious about a proposal that we have to put in place or a presentation we have to give, and that really makes our anxiety go like through the roof. Then I want you to spend, 2 or 3 weeks every day saying 3 to 5 nice things about yourself. Meaning, I'm competent, I'm good at my job, I do the best I can. Like, I want you to start saying nice things, and I promise that will help your anxiety subside. And so just be patient with it. It's one day at a time, one issue, one trigger at a time, because exercise can help, but it doesn't actually fix it. It's just a distraction. It's something that we're just doing to help our brain stop being anxious, which doesn't actually treat the issue. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. Okay, next question.
Okay, this is Ray Wood.
Okay, Ray Wood says, I've been reading that treatment can be different for left-handers. Is there any evidence to support this? I've never heard this, Ray. If you want to send me a link to research or any articles, I know that we are more accident prone because the world is right-handed mostly.
Scissors aren't built for you.
Yeah, I'm left-handed. I know that they say our brain works a little bit differently and we're a little bit more creative, but I don't really think that would change the treatment. And I haven't heard that, but where are my fellow lefties at? Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Oh, I am perfect, but I haven't heard that. I mean, I think that as long as you find someone who is supportive and like, I'm talking about finding the right therapist. You find the right therapist you really connect with, I think they'll be able to help you regardless of whether you're right-handed or left-handed. But I could see that maybe certain tools and techniques would benefit us more because our brain works in a little bit different of a way, but I don't think it'd be that significant. Okay, next. Are we done?
That's it.
I'm caught up.
So let's not do any more of those for the moment. Do you want to just like chill for a little bit?
Alicia, your family forced you. Well, I'm going to be on for
must-
3 more minutes, you guys.
Okay.
We're going to get off in 3 minutes.
Got
So,
any more questions you want to answer? Like from the group?
and now you're ambidextrous. Alicia, my grandpa was that way. He was born a left-hander, and he was forced in school to use his right hand because my grandpa's 85 now. And so back then, I guess everybody's had to be right-handed. And so now he's ambidextrous, but he still writes with his left hand, but he uses scissors with his right hand, and he plays baseball from the right hand, like, swings the bat right-handed. I swing left-handed. It's crazy. Okay, let's see. Oh, Katie, ADHD treatment, what does it look like? It's usually about the books that I would get would be Driven from Distraction and Driven to Distraction. I know that sounds crazy, but there's 2 books, very similar, written by the same people. But I would get those books because it helps you. The way that treatment works is finding the best way to utilize your unique brain, because nothing's wrong with you. It's just your brain works differently than other people's. And that's not a bad thing. We just have to find how to use the way that our brain works to our advantage. And that book kind of walks you through it, helps you better understand it. And so that's what I would do. Okay, Timothy says, how do I be honest with my therapist? I talk without meaning, avoiding my issues and going on tangents automatically. Just practice. I think practicing writing out the honest truth and maybe bringing it in and giving it to them first, or even just telling them that. Like, I find that I'm going to do a video about this. It's in one of my Thursday video questions, but a lot of people do that, avoid and go on tangents and try to distract. And a good therapist will call you on it once you're comfortable. Like, I have a lot of patients where I'll ask them a direct question like, hey, so you went and saw your dietitian, like, even though I've already talked to the dietitian, they know, they've signed the release. I'll say, so what did she or he say? And how did that work? And then they'll like try to change the subject and talk about something else. Like, oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you, like, I had a call with my mom yesterday. It didn't go very well. And I'm like, it's not what I asked you about. We'll get to that. I'll make a note of that. We'll come back to it. But right now, and so we have to be a little tough love that way, where we like try to hold you into the right conversation. But if there are things that you want to like address and talk about and you can't even broach a subject so they don't even know to bring it up, that's where writing things down and bringing it in can be helpful, or writing in a journal and allowing them to read a few pages here and there can be helpful, or just telling them that you struggle with this and that you'd like them to kind of guide you to it. Those are all ways to kind of get you back on track, and hopefully that helps.
So
is there nightmare disorder, Carly? Is that in the DSM? I'm not aware of it, but I will look into it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Okay, Sean lost his train of thought.
Dang.
But anyway, since we're running out of time, and I just wanted to come say hi to all of you. Oh, and I have a video about sleep paralysis, you guys. You can look that up. But oh no, we're not moving over to you now or anything. This was just to hang out, to say thank you for a wonderful 8+ years. Is that right?
Yeah,
8 years.
Like 1,500 videos. Like,
Yeah.
even though there's 1,000.
Even though there's only 1,000 that are public on YouTube, we've created over 1,500, because if any of you are on Patreon, you know, at $20 and above, I make almost 10 videos a month just for you. Not to mention the workbook videos and all the live streams.
And the secret dance party videos.
Oh yeah, that's you now. Those are you now. So, you know, there's been a lot in the past 8 years, and I just want to thank you all for being a part of it. I have some really exciting announcements happening in the next week or so. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have your notifications turned on, which I'd assume because you're here, you already did that. Thanks, Bethany. But I couldn't have done it without any of you. So thank you all so much for all your support through the years and for just being part of the community, because it's because of you that I am able to keep doing this. And it's because of you that I get to just watch you all change and grow. And it's such a wonderful job that I have. Oh yeah. Oh, and Sean, just thank you to everyone who did the super chat. Your support really helps. Like I was talking about on Instagram earlier today, like all of my eating disorder videos and trauma videos have been demonetized, and I don't really understand. But it's our community that helps it keep chugging along. And I will keep creating as long as you want to keep watching. Yeah, and I'll try to do more streams. Streams are just a little bit trickier because I'm usually, like right now I'm working on video creation. And so it's, you know, it's like buying my time. Like, how do I divide it up and make it benefit the most people? Oh, how awesome, Badass Bartender. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being part of the community. A video will be going out today if they will just approve it. I'm going to maybe like prod them a little bit because I put it for approval yesterday. It shouldn't take this long. But yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, did you guys like
it? Does it look good? What's the chat experience like?
Did you guys like this? Let me know. Did you guys like this, the quality of this and everything?
Well, this person says I recommend.
Yeah, theme title. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Okay.
What's up, Brent?
Brent liked it. Okay, cool. Better than you now? Okay. Well, maybe we'll do this instead. But thank you all so much for being on and for everything. And we'll do more. So I'll see you soon.
Chat's taking off.
It is. Pew, 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 pew. Okay. Oh, pork chop. That's a fun name. I really like that. Okay. I'll see you guys all soon in the video when it goes live.
Page 404.
Love you. Okay, cool. Thanks for 1,000 videos. Here's to 1,000 more. Bye.